Harshit Tailor from Aussizz Group Geelong. So today we are discussing short. We are having a short seminar on the GS criteria, which is related to the student visa and the English requirements for the student visa and even the 485 visa. So basically, this GS criteria and this webinar, what we are doing today will be helpful for those students who have recently arrived in Australia. And also it will be helpful for those students who have been in Australia, they want to change their courses or they want to apply for student visa extension. And also it will be helpful for those students who are on another visa other than the student visa. Let's say someone is on 485 visa, 408 visa, 600 visa, which is a visitor visa. It will be helpful for them as well. So I hope it will make sense to you, okay, if it applies to you. So basically, we will be discussing the GS criteria. So what is the genuine student criteria? So we'll be discussing today that what is the GS criteria, which visa is using the GS criteria, what is the requirements of the genuine student requirements, and when was it implemented or when it will be implemented, and how it is different from the GT criteria which we used to have before. So from past many years for the student visa, the Department of Home Affairs was only using the GTE criteria, and they have recently made changes and converted it to genuine student criteria. So basically, GS criteria is genuine student requirements. So as the name suggests, this criteria is for the student visa applications. Okay, so student visa applicants who are applying for the student visa, they must satisfy this GS criteria, genuine student requirements. So all the applicants for the student visa must be a genuine applicant for entry. To be granted a student visa, all the applicants must demonstrate that they must satisfy the student criteria. So before 23rd of March, there was GT criteria. So Department of Home Affairs has announced that after the applications which are lodged after 23rd March 2024, all the student visa applications will have to follow the genuine student requirements. So the applications which were lodged before this date, they will still assess the application on the best of the GTE criteria, which was the old criteria. So I hope it makes sense to you that any applications which has been submitted after 23rd of March 2024 will have to follow the GS criteria only. And if you have lodged anything before that date, you can still get the visa grant on the base of the GTE criteria, which was the previous criteria. So what is GT requirement? So GT requirement is basically a set of questions within the student visa applications. So whenever you make an application for the student visa, you need to answer a set of questions. And we'll discuss that in detail, that what are these set of questions you need to answer. And this set of questions are like targeted questions that will help the Department of Home Affairs uh, if the applicant is a genuine student applicant. So basically, this GS criteria also focuses on the assessment of the student's intention to study in Australia. So that was the GT criteria was doing the same thing as well. They were also focusing on the assessment of the students and focusing that the intention of the student in Australia is to study only. But basically, GT criteria was focusing on the part that whatever whatever applicants are applying, circumstances in your home country will include the ties to your family, your community, your employment and economic ties as well. The second question they may ask is that why you choose your course and why you choose Australia as your study destination. So you need to explain them. You need to provide the reasons that why you are choosing this course, how this course will be different from the course you are already getting in your home country or any other country where you are living. how this course will benefit from studying. Okay, so let's say I can give you an example on this question. That let's say if someone has um, studied bachelor's of mechanical in their home country, and they have 2 years of experience in their nominated occupations, and after that they want to uh, study masters in mechanical or any engineering course over here, okay, just to enhance their skills and to prove that they can get an employment in their own field, and they can get a promotion in their own field. They can also provide evidence is okay that they can get a potential hike in their salary as well. They can get provide a potential employment contract which they are going to provide. So this is how you can provide reasons and answer these questions, that why you are choosing this course and how an Australian qualification will benefit you after you finish your study in Australia. Then you have to answer the questions that the details of your study history in Australia. So if you are in Australia, this question will apply to you. So let's say someone is already in Australia and applying for a student extension visa. So they will check that what you have studied. Let's say if you have come here on on a master's of IT degree, and then you are changing to some other engineering degree after 6 months, then you need to provide them the reasons, and they will also check that what was your previous study and what is your current study, and you need to provide them specific reasons that why you are not interested in your previous study and why you are choosing these studies. Similarly, in this scenario as well, you need to prove that let's say someone is in uh, Australia on a different visa, which is masters, and then they want to downgrade to a diploma course. So in this case, also they will check that what is your study history in Australia. This will also help them to assess your visa application. So let's say if you are holding a student visa, other than if you are holding any other visa, okay, apart from the student visa, you need to give the reasons that why you're applying a student visa. So this question is not for all the applicants in the visa application. This question is all only for those applicants who do not have a student visa right now, but they do have a substantive visa. Let's say a visitor visa. You can say a 485 visa or a 408 COVID visa. So this kind of visas, if you have and if you are applying for a student visa, then they may scrutinize your application, and they may ask you for additional documents. They may assess in the sense uh, they may assess your application in terms that what was your history, how long you have studied, have you finished your previous study or not? Then have you hopped on any other visas or not after your student visa? How long you have been in Australia? So this all the reasons will impact your application, and you need to provide definite reason that why you want to study another course in Australia. So that is the main reason. So basically, this is your immigration history, that amount of time spent in Australia, or if you have a student undertaken a series of different courses, okay, then you need to provide the reason for that as well. Sometimes people have studied masters as the main course in Australia when they came here, or maybe bachelor's they have done, and then after utilizing the 485 visa, they are downgrading to some other visa, let's say diploma. Then they may scrutinize their application, and they may check the application and assess the application very strictly as compared to other normal student visa applications. This has been mentioned in their ministerial direction recently on 23rd March. Uh, they have announced their ministerial direction, and in that it has mentioned that they may scrutinize those applicants who are not on student visa and applying for any other visa. So you can also provide any other relevant information as well, okay, which you like to provide in order to prove that you are a genuine student in Australia and your main purpose of study in Australia is to study only. And then let's say if your course is rated that you can apply for a PR pathway, you can mention that as well. So you can basically even provide documentations, information as well, uh, to support your answers in this set of questions. So we'll discuss each and every thing like closely. So let's say if we discuss that's the current circumstances in your home country. So in that they will check that what are your circumstances, how close you are to your family, how close you are to your community in your home country. So you need to provide everything. Let's say if someone has an employment and economic ties, then they need to provide that 12 months of employment evidences before applying for the visa. You can also provide your bank statement, pay slips, tax documents to prove that currently that you have an employment in your home country, and before applying for the visa, you are trying to get a study in the same field or any other field. So if you have an employment circumstances, it is not required that it must be in the same field. But if you have any employment in your home country or any economic ties in your home country, you can provide that. So economic ties also can be in the sense that if someone had bank statements which had enough funds in their home country, so it can also create an intention to return back to the home country. Let's say the requirement, as everyone knows, that for the student visa, whenever you apply for a student visa, there is a financial capacity requirement that for the primary applicant, you need to show somewhere around $24,000. Then you need to show your travel expenses. You need to show 1 year of fees in Australia. So if you have paid this fees, you can also show the evidence of that fees. So that you can show your economic circumstances in that case that you have enough funds in your home country under your name or maybe under your family's name, which you are going to inherit or something like that. And you can prove that you have got enough economic ties in your home country that after finishing your study, you will return back to the home country. But in some circumstances, let me give you an example of that as well. Let's say someone has someone has provided the bank statement. So if someone has provided the bank statement, you also need to show that how you have received the funds in your home country in your bank statement. So you can provide evidences that you have got pay slips throughout the period of time. You can provide income tax documents as well that you are currently employed, that how you have received the funds in your bank. If you sell a property or something, then you can provide the sale deed of that property. So it will create an evidence that you have got an you have got an evidence that you have got enough funds in your bank as well. So if you are not able to provide these documents, you are not able to provide these evidences that how you have received the money in the bank statement, then also there can be the chances that they can assess your application, and they can refuse on the basis of these questions. So basically, they are going to assess on the basis of this only. Let's move on. Yeah, so if we move on to the next question, that why you want to choose the course and how this course in Australia will help as compared to the course similar type of courses in your home country. So basically you can provide the intentions and potential outcomes of the courses, that if you study something in Australia, that has a higher chance of giving you in an employment as compared to the course you are studying in your home country. You can provide the reason like that. Then if we move on to the third question, that how will you benefit from studying your chosen course? So I already provide you an example for this one, but I'll provide you a second example. Let's say someone has applied to study certificate 3 for diploma in cookery, lady, or diploma in hospitality management. They want to study something in relation to that. So you can write in this answer something like that how there are potential chances that if you want to open a business in your home country, then it will definitely benefit you, and what will be the outcomes, and how much will be the estimate earning you will be doing. in your home country after you finish the study, rather than if you study something else, you might not, it will not help you to open a business or a restaurant in that field. So that can be that is how you can provide the answer in this one. So basically this is the criteria, and moving on to the next one. So details of a study history in Australia. So as I already mentioned, okay, that you need to provide evidences in this one. So let's say you can also provide details and documents, both things in this details. So if you have already studied in Australia, or even if you have studied in your home country, then you need to provide the evidences of your transcript, completion letter, any potential documents for your study you have done. Okay. Then let's say if you have any gap in your studies in this one, okay, then you also need to provide a reason, okay, that why there was a gap in your home study. Were you doing something else during that gap, or study something else during that gap? Are you preparing yourself for some extracurricular activities, or maybe any extra exams you are preparing? Okay, so you need to provide all these details in these questions. I hope this section is clear to everyone. So now, on the basis of that questions, what we already answered in our visa application, student visa application. So now the criteria they will assess on is on these criteria only, which is the circumstances in your home country related to your economic circumstances, employment circumstances, of family ties. So all those questions you have answered, they will assess on the basis of that. Then second is your immigration history. Okay, that how long you have been in Australia, are you using this visa to just hop on different visas or not? Have you previously applied for any visas which has been refused? If you are applying from offshore, let's say if you applied for a visitor visa before and it was refused, so that will also put an impact on your immigration history. And the third one is compliance with the visa conditions and any other relevant matter. So let's say in the past, if you have applied for any visa and have not complied with any visa conditions or overstayed or something like that, then it may impact your new application for the student visa, and they will assess your application in relation to these criteria. So now we'll discuss like what is the main difference between the GT and the GST criteria. So in previously only I'll mention that what is the main difference between the GT and GST criteria. So the main difference is that in the GT criteria, previously they will mainly focus is on those students, okay, who genuinely wants to study temporary in Australia. And if you mention like if you want to move permanently in Australia, then they will refuse your application. So in the GT, you are not able to mention that you permanently want to move in Australia. So that was the main thing in the GT. While in GST, you can currently mention that the applicants coming to Australia genuinely want to study, but they may seek a new pathway for PR as well, an alternate pathway for PR as well, if they are eligible. And if it justifies your study overseas, your study in Australia, your employment and everything, then you can justify your answer according to that in the GST, and still you can mention this thing and apply for a PR pathway, and they can assess you on the basis of that as well. So let's say I'll give you an example for this one. So if there is a skill shortage in Australia in any occupation, and if you have an experience in your field, if you are trying to study in that field in Australia and fulfill that skill shortage for a specific occupation, then yes, your application has higher chances of approval. Okay, now what they check in GT and GST. So previously in GT statement, like it was attached with the student visa. So it was kind of an SOP, statement of purpose, attached with the student visa application. There was no word limit. You can write any word limit, okay, and you can attach with your visa application. You have to submit it, but now it has been included as a set of questions with maximum 150 word limit for each questions, and you have to write in the visa application only. You cannot attach anything, even though if you attach any SOP with your application after 23rd of March 2024, then they might not consider it. They will not consider that document. So it's better to mention everything in that set of questions, and mention that uh, what are your circumstances in your home country or in Australia, and how you are eligible for this visa. So now with the language skills, so GT and GST, like previously there was no English requirements for the GT, but currently even though for the GST criteria there is no English requirements, but there are higher chances that the case officer can ask you for the English test, because they also want to eliminate the non-genuine students who want to apply for this visa. So if you have got PT or else you have got enough bands, what is the requirement for the as per the new requirements of the student visa, okay, then are the chances for you to get the visa grant, and you'll fulfill the GST requirements, because case officer will focus on this thing. And even for the level 1 colleges right now, if you are applying from onshore, you don't require English language test, and even if you have a passport from a specific countries, you don't require this test. Yeah, we missed one thing. Why they are doing this. So yes, so the purpose of everything, like moving from GT to GST, okay, so they want to basically stop students, okay, who want to stay here in Australia permanently, and also in GT they are trying to focus on different kinds of students, okay, so not all the students have got the same circumstances, so every student should be treated fairly in this GST criteria, and every student should be considered different in this criteria. So according to the circumstances, uh, they can assess each and every student, and fairly they will treat and grant the student visa to them. So basically, in GT, if someone wants to like come here in Australia on a permanent basis, okay, so they cannot mention that thing, but in GST you can mention that. So this is the main difference, and we have discussed it like a couple of times. So this you have to mainly focus on this thing, and GST also focused on this thing, that you can be fairly treated as per your circumstances and as per your study and what course you are applying for in Australia. Yes. Yeah, so this is also a big difference. Like it doesn't talk about the connections in Australia. So basically, what GT asked in the ministerial direction in for the GT, if you have connection in Australia, like your family and friends, you have to mention that. But in the GST criteria, there is no requirement to mention that thing. So if you want to study here, and if your family is still here, then it's fine. You can still get the visa, because in GT criteria previously there were refusal on the basis that your family is here and you would genuinely don't want to study in Australia. You just want to stay here, and you will permanently stay here because your family is a PR or citizen, or maybe on some other visa as well. So you won't leave the country, but that has been eliminated in the GST criteria. So that is a good thing. Now, the English language requirements. So, as we discussed, okay, that the English can be asked by the case officer, English language requirements. So these are the new English language requirement, which has been increased by 0.5 from the last requirements. So as per the new requirements, okay, you require in the IELTS score 6 bands, and most of the people right now prefer PT. So PT you require 50 overall. So this is the overall school requirement you need to meet. And let's say if you have got 5.5, okay, then which is the minimum test score to enter into a 10-week LE course. And if you got 5, then it will be a 20-week LE course for you. So LE course is basically an English course. You need to study in Australia before starting your main course. So LE course will help you to uh, like to brush up your English skills. Okay, because anyways you are studying in an English speaking country, so and your score is not up to the mark, so this will help you to brush up your English before your main course starts. And once your main course starts, then let's say you can start working according to 24 hours per week, which is the requirement. So when your LE course is in progression, you cannot work as well. So that is a requirement. So it's better that you meet the English language requirement which is mentioned. So you don't have to go through the LE course or an English course before your main course of study. So this is a big news because from many years the English test has not been changed for the student visa or any other visa. So this is a big step, and this proves that they want to eliminate most of the students who are an non-genuine student in coming to Australia, and their purpose is not just like study here. They want to permanently migrate or hop on to different visas. Maybe they come here, change to different visas, and then never study. Like they keep on taking courses which are like diploma or something, which doesn't lead to anything. So it basically eliminate those kind of applicants. So English language is some requirement for the student visa. So uh, if you meet this requirement, yes, then you are eligible to apply for the student visa application. Now, this is also the main requirement for 485 visa, which is the English language requirement. So previously the requirement was 6 in overall, and now it has increased to 6.5 overall in terms of IELTS. And if you are going for PT, so as you can see, the overall requirement for PT is 57, which most of our clients prefer. And for each module, it is quite different. So 43 for listening, 48 for reading, 42 for speaking, and 51 for writing. So you need to make sure that you are getting that individual module score for each module, like listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Then only you will meet the requirements. If you are just score 57 in overall score, but you are not meeting the requirements of each score, okay, then you are not eligible to apply for the 485 visa. And this 485 English language test validity was 3 years before, and it has changed to 1 year only. So whenever you apply for the 485 visa, you have to appear for the PT within last 1 year of applying of the 485 visa. So students coming in Australia, they have to make sure that, let's say, they have taken English language test during their student visa. So it will already been expired for the 485 visa. Okay, so whenever you apply for the 485 visa after 2 years, if you are doing masters, or 3 years, if you're doing bachelor's or any other diploma courses. Okay, so you need to make sure that you meet this requirement of English test within 1 year only. So basically, you again have to give the English language test after you finish your study or during your study before you apply for a 485 visa. So the acceptable test are IELTS test, which is common. PT is the most common test. Then TOEFL, IBT is a test you can go for. But currently, I think TOEFL is not accepted because TOEFL is only accepted on or before the 25th of July 2023. So I suggest that go for IELTS and PT. So these are the most common tests people go for. Okay. And then you will be eligible for the 485 visa. So people who don't know what is a 485 visa, so 485 visa is a post-study visa, okay, temporary graduate visa. So if you have studied diploma courses, then you can apply in graduate work stream. And if you have studied bachelor's or master courses, you can apply in a post-study work stream. So after you finish your study, this visa will allow you to stay in Australia for 18 months or 2 years, depending on what you have studied. And then in that 18 months or 2 years, you meet the requirements of PR for your relevant occupation, do your skill assessment, and then from there, you can apply for your PR pathway. So yeah, this is all from my side. And if you have any questions, you can always pop in. I'll also share my details in the chat so everyone has got my details. Just give me a moment. You can pop in your questions over here if you have any questions, or what you can do, I'll leave the details in the email. You can type your questions over here and I can answer your questions. So these are my details. My email address and phone number is, so you can always call me or text me or email me any of your questions. So I got a question from Chirag. Okay, so Chirag, answering your question. So whenever you finish your studies, you have to apply for the 485 visa within 6 months of your completion. So there will be, whenever you finish your study, let's say there is a completion date of 1st of June on a letter, or 15th of June on a letter. Okay, so from that date to 6 months, you are eligible to apply for the 485 visa. But you should have a substantive visa or a bridging visa to lodge that application. But most of the time, if you are not like I applied for an extension of student visa, your visa might be expiring within 15 to 20 days of your completion as well. Okay, so basically apply if you are already completed your studies and it is also already within 6 months, apply for the 485 visa. Yes, I think Ismail, do you have any questions? I think you can
Yes,
type,
sir.
you can type in Ismail.
Uh,
We are still 5 minutes. So anyone, if you want to ask any questions, we are still 3 to 5 minutes on this slide. And after that, if you still have any questions or any questions arise, you can always save my number. You can email me with your questions, and we'll be very happy to answer you. And we also can book an appointment for you. So we currently offer a free consultation right now at our 3 branches, which is Geelong, Werribee, and Truganina. So you can go to any of the branches. Ismail, answering to your question for the skill assessment. So I suppose that you have done uh, you have studied graduate diploma in early childhood and applied for the skill assessment, and it's 2 months you have not received the outcome. So yes, currently they are taking much time, so more than expected. So recently we have received within 12 weeks, or which is around 3 months. So I suggested wait for the outcome. It will be in the process, and you might receive an invitation outcome uh, within a month or something. And then you can apply for PR visa as well, because currently in that occupation, people are getting invitation at 65 points in 189. So we are hoping for one more invitation round for 189 before this financial year. So hope for the best for you. Currently, Jairaj, the time duration for 485 is quite higher, as we have seen. So it is somewhere between 3 to 6 months. So if you have applied for the 485 visa, so you have to wait for 3 to 6 months for the visa to be granted. But they are, as per the new requirements, like they have not like announced anything yet. But in the migration strategy which they launched in December 2023, they have mentioned that they are going to expedite the process for the 485 visa, and maybe in 15 days you might get your visa. So it is still not implemented yet, but if it's implemented and you are going to apply at that time, then yeah, you may get the visa early as well. Jill has asked a question: how many years of TR I will get after my course of Masters of Business Information Systems? Jill, currently you will get a TR as per the new requirements. If you apply after mid 2024, you will get the TR for 2 years only, because they are going to remove that list of occupations who are going to get extended 2 years of visa. So, and they are also going to reduce the 485 visa. So you will get a 2 years of visa. Vivek has asked a question: what about TR for MBA and accounting as well? So yeah, TR for MBA and accounting, you will get 2 years of 485 visa as well, which was the previous requirement. Ismail asking, can I live here at change state? I have 75 Victoria 80 for 189. Yes, definitely you can change state, Ismail. Okay, but I'll suggest that if you stay in Victoria, because Victoria has like Victoria and New South Wales are the state who has got enough seats as compared to all the other states, and Western Australia is currently closed. So I'll suggest that until this financial year, stay in Victoria only. Don't make any changes or move to any other state. Don't migrate. When the new requirements come in the next financial year, maybe it will come in July or August, then try to move to any other state if it's easier to get an invitation over there. But I suggest that if you wait for a bit, you might get a 189. But for a backup, keep trying for state nominations as well for 190. Yeah, I think we have answered all the questions. Even if you have got any questions after this, I think we are going to end the session over here. And you can definitely contact me. You can visit our Geelong branch or any our closest branch, which is Prugnin or Werribee, if you're living nearby. And yeah, we are happy to help you. Thank you, guys.